Hey everyone. Well, today is something a little different here again. I'm going to be out at a salvage site that I recently got cutting rights to here. Kind of a revisit back to earlier this spring when I was talking about an access road into one of my fields, hay fields here that was turned into a fire protection line. They dozed a bunch of trees and dirt and made a heck of a mess here. But recently, where I live here, provincial government authorities came in and did remediation work. They had an excavator, a couple excavators in here, pulling down all the sod banks and piling up and separating trees out that were tangled up in those sod banks that they pushed over. Now the Forestry or Conservation District here asked me if I would be interested in taking on this project of cutting as much salvage wood out of this as I can, or what's usable. A lot of this stuff has a lot of dirt and sand on the stump ends of the tree down about 6-7 feet, sometimes 8 feet, sometimes only 4 feet, whatever. That obviously I can't cut, it's too full of sand, and I have to cut it off and leave that part with the stump. All the upper part of the tree is clean. The excavator operators did a good job. They were careful not to mix a bunch of dirt in the clean part of the trees, so I'll show you here what I got going on. So essentially what they did was took and raked down. This was the worst here, where they had the biggest piles. These were up to 10-12 feet high, some of these dirt piles here. They just pushed a whole bunch of dirt over, cutting into my road and laying all the sod over, and as you can see, there's some pretty good sized mature pine in here, and they were laying the trees over as they were going with the sod. Now what happens is the lower part of the trees got messed up with sand and mud and dirt. So when as they were pulling the dirt down here, leveling out these banks, they plucked the trees out before they mixed it in with the dirt, and they laid it all out on the side over here, all along the trail down here. This trail goes all the way back out to the highway over there, all the way around, down over here, about a mile to a mile and a half total, back out to one of my hay fields here. An access road that I have here goes through public lands here, so anyways, like I said, they did some mediation work in here, pulled all the dirt banks down. This is about as good as it's gonna get. The trail is still rough and whatever, but that's unfortunately how it goes when you're dealing with these things. So, but anyways, they laid all the wood out down alongside the trail in bunch piles here. Somewhere they had a lot of wood, they had on both sides of the trail, and other places it's just on the one side here. He moved all the trees over. So what I'm having to do is just cut it. They can cut the trees off here just above where the dirt ends. So unfortunately, like I say, I'm leaving about 5, 6, 7 feet of good tree behind, but there's just too much sand and dirt all coated and caked on there. There's no way I can cut that and get it clean. The rest of the tree, like I say, is clean. It's fine because they had pushed them over with the cats, and they were in the clear away from the dirt. So from here about there back all the way the length of the tree length is clean. There's no dirt on it, or very little anyways. A few spots of sand here and there, but they did a pretty good job, like I say, of keeping it out of the dirt for the most part. So what I'm doing is just coming in here, cutting up firewood out of this, and shoving the stumps back into the brush off to the side, and any of the branches and limbs. I got the backhoe here today. We got our first little taste of winter here. We got some snow here now, early start to winter, I guess, whatever, late fall, early winter. But anyways, gonna be running my Johnson Red 2156, the one that I did the Walbro HDA 199 carb rebuild and upgrade on. It's running good now. So anyways, getting cold and windy, and get on with it here. I'll set up the camera and I'll just start cutting here, and we're gonna go at it. can see, I got cut what I can get cut out of there. There's the one stump there and the other stump there. That one's about 7 feet long and the other one's only about 3 or 4 feet. But so like I say, as soon as it gets into the dirt, I'll just roll them back when I come back the next time with the machine, either the skidder or the backhoe. And these here, I cut a little bit out of the top here, but there's literally, this thing is just coated in sand, and I am not totally wrecking my saw chains and crap like this. I don't know if the camera is going to show it or not, but there's literally, it's just full of sand all along here. So, and that's where it was buried in the dirt bank, so almost all the way up to here. So they will literally, this one will just get pushed back here a little bit further into the bush there, and that's where they're going to stay. Nothing you can do with that. But I could get 3/4 of a bucket here of wood, and I'm going to pull up over here further, and there's one laying along the trail there. I'm going to cut that one up, and then I'll have finished that section of trail over there is clean. I got one little bunch over here to pick through, and then keep working my way down. I already got another section done down there, and I'll link up the two, and then this part of the trail here is all completed and done, and then I'll keep marching my way on towards my hayfield back there. Like I say, some of it's really good wood, some of it's not. This stuff is a little bit still half green, so this is not burnable wood for this year or this winter. That'll be wood for next winter. That's going to go in the stockpile. It's still got some green pitch and sap in it yet, so I'll in the springtime when I get a chance, I'll get the log splitter up to a stockpile I got at home and run this all through, and then that's done, and at least salvage something out of something that was going to be left to rot and go to waste anyways. So take what we can out of it and make something good out of something bad. Well, once again, everyone, I'd just like to say thanks for stopping by and checking out another one of my videos, and we'll see you all in the next one.